Conversations. It's our first podcast with me and Marissa. We're going to try and do this weekly, just talk about all things cocktails, a little bit of business, and just a little bit about us. We're going to ask weekly for some random questions from you guys, so if you could send them through, that would be fantastic to keep us chatting. I have prepared with a couple of questions from some people today.
Cool.
So this is for you. You've opened 2 businesses during COVID. What has that been like? I guess COVID's on everyone's mind.
Is that towards me?
Mm-hmm.
I guess like what I tell everybody is that we did start these hospitality businesses right when COVID sort of started. So there's nothing much to really compare to. So we're sort of acting as if like this is the norm, and it's been pretty exciting. It's pretty fun, and where obviously everything is so new. So if a new requirement comes up or anything like that, we're just sort of taking it and going with it. There's nothing you can do about it. So like we can have any old days to compare to and go, I wish it used to be like that or anything like that. So I
think it's been funny that it's been 2 businesses now, like during COVID. MBV opened during COVID. Mm-hmm. So I guess we've fucking forgotten what it's like to own a business outside of COVID.
Yeah, but well, I guess we just don't really know about hospitality outside of COVID. Like the gym, we can't even compare because it's a completely different industry.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to COVID being over, so we can hopefully get a bit of a
see if there's any actual change,
see if any changes. Yeah,
or this is just hospitality. Yeah. Really, it's interesting.
I think I've had a fuck enough of COVID. I think everyone's had enough of COVID.
Yeah, I think it's just dragging on too much.
I think considering we opened a restaurant 2 years ago and it was the start of COVID, and we're now the quietest it's ever been because of COVID, I think that's
2 years later.
That's been it's probably taken a little bit too long to get through this part of our COVID lives, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think the fear is no longer, well, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not an elderly, sick, immunocompromised person, but I think...
I'm personally not worried about COVID for my own health.
So I just think that...
I had COVID,
the fear
actually.
is, go on.
I've already had COVID. I got COVID coming back from Brisbane, so I'm immune.
And how are your symptoms?
I was only sick for a couple of days. It was really good, actually. It worked out well. It was the end of our holiday, so it didn't actually affect work or the opening of OSC, I don't think. Maybe a couple of days, but nothing crazy.
Well, yeah, so it's just instead of starting 4 days in, we waited an extra few days and opened later.
Which is totally fine by us anyway.
Yeah,
but I just slept for 2 days and then I was up and at 'em.
Yeah.
And Marissa slept in the same bed as me and didn't get COVID, so...
I'm still COVID-free, y'all.
Yeah, she's a fit little healthy thing.
I'm hoping I don't get it later because we can't afford to have another week off. But
I think one of the main questions I get is everyone, especially after MBV, everyone's always asking if I miss doing food. And that's been someone's question a lot. Do you miss doing food? Do you think you should have done food with the bar here at OSC? What do you think? Do you miss doing food? Do you miss...
I'll let you answer this first because I answered the last one first.
No, I don't miss doing fucking food.
Same answer.
I think food is very hard. Food's very low margin. Requires a lot of humans to cook said food. A lot of chefs, a lot of skilled people to operate a kitchen.
I add to that that most of the businesses we've ever run, we've started the process. So we know exactly what the process is. If you're actually maximally working or getting the most out of your job and doing the best that you can, sort of thing. Whereas with food, we sort of opened, we did the bar, we did front of house, but we had no idea what was going on behind those kitchen doors. So I think if you were to do a food again, or you found the opportunity where you would, like, you would actually start yourself in the kitchen.
I think Marissa's mentioned before, we are looking at another lease at the moment for another bar with a very small tapas sort of restaurant attached to it. And Marissa was joking-ish day that it would be fun to actually cook yourself.
One at a time.
I think it's actually doable. I think that's something I've actually been thinking about it a fair bit lately. If it was some small, it'd be pretty fun to try and run a kitchen for just a few months by yourself.
I think it's a very stressful role, and being a chef is its own thing, but so is a bartender. And the more that I do prep on Wednesdays and all of the opens and things like that, and obviously faster orders, you realize that chefing is in a similar realm to working with flavors, preparing food, and then working under pressure and trying to fulfill orders and still make all the orders sort of make sense. So I think it's completely possible, and that's the only way that doing food will work, when we actually have our hands on and know the process involved, whereas we're taking the word for others, and that's when things sort of got a little bit out of control and we weren't sure really what was going on.
Yeah, it'd also be another bit of a testament to being able to learn through YouTube, like being able to actually YouTubed some of the key things you need to learn about chefing and about cooking your specific food, not chefing in general. Like, it's very broad, it's like doing a degree in accounting as opposed to doing your own taxes. You can sort of learn a very narrow field of things that you need to achieve.
Yeah, so like a small 8 to 10 item tapas menu for a very small amount of people.
It's different to be able to cook French and Italian cuisine.
For a fine dining restaurant, absolutely. Don't expect to do that.
Although I'm pretty sure I'll be fucking pretty deadly on the kitchen anyway. Cool, so we both don't miss food at all.
Don't miss food, but if it came up
I do
again,
think it's actually a little bit. It would be very nice to have. Food is a great attraction for people while they're drinking. So it is. I think it is very important to have a food offering. We do lose out, I think, a little bit by people having to leave to go and get a snack.
Talking to someone the other day, and they were like, the difference between, say, us and Matt Black is that it is a restaurant. So as soon as you add food, you're suddenly known as this different thing. People come here because they know they can just drink and feel completely fine with it. They don't have to eat. And that is one nice little bonus of the cocktail bar.
The effort for food, like, we need more space, double the staff, double the dishwashing, double the fucking plates, double the cutlery. Like, everything you need is just astronomically more for food. It's very simplistic for cocktails, very complicated for food,
and then you
even at a basic offering.
Yourself up to a lot of potential criticism.
Yeah.
Everyone's a food critic nowadays, even your Macca's eaters.
Everyone's watched too much MasterChef. Everyone really thinks they know what's going on with food. Whereas cocktails, people just enjoy themselves and actually
it's fun.
Take it for what it is. Have a little bit of fun, enjoy their friends. And they're not so critical of everything all the time. I think
it just brings a different customer as well.
So no, we do not. Miss doing food one little bit. Why did you choose to open a cocktail bar?
I think, as we all know, with the Matt Black Violet, like, we had hands in the front of house in the cocktail bar, and we saw the potential with that. And backing up the previous comment, the food was just too much. So why not open that cocktail bar and see how far it could go with just these crazy, beautiful, modern drinks? And it took off, obviously, but I think the space also made a huge difference when it popped up. I think that's when it was sort of like, well, now is the time.
It's a good offering in a really good location. So I think it's gone.
Yeah.
It's been very ideal.
What brought the cocktail bar around. Like, if it was just another space on a random spot, I don't think it would have called for, say, just cocktails.
I think in hindsight we were very lucky and very nonchalant about getting this space, when actually it was very critical. It's very critical to be able to have a space in North Ward is quite rare.
And now in the up-and-coming sort of area.
And now there's none. There's been none since we moved in. There hasn't been a single thing come up for lease since we
and supposedly this was available for a long time. So I think it was just one of those things that we were meant to
right time, right
have
place.
It. Yeah, exactly. So it's good.
I think we opened a cocktail bar because we had a lot of fun at MBV and previously making drinks. It was something that we had a lot of control over, I think, and it went really... it works well for us because everything, everything's measured, everything's dosed, everything's precise, everything's repeatable. I think that works pretty well for the kind of thing we like to do and the way we like to see staff work. It's a very repeatable pattern that we can sort of train into people and to try and achieve a consistent product. Because that's fucking the biggest thing that we're probably obsessed with is speed, and I think consistency. Things actually, when you walk into a venue and it's actually just good, someone says hello to you, they put you in a seat, they get you some water consistently, they get you drinks that are great, that are made well. That's just something that we're really passionate about. Just when people, no one should be concerned when they walk into ask about the service they're about to receive or the product they're about to drink. It should be very reassuring. Yeah.
On top of that, we've got the base method of speed and consistency, but then because you can control that so well in this environment, and we can then focus on all the extra things that people can notice. So the first walk in, that smell...
Sorry, I'm still getting over my corona cough.
That smell when they first walk in, or the actual decor of the place to give them that wow factor. And then because it is, say, a smaller environment where they're more squished in together, then the attention and the constant love. So you've got that base foundation that we can just kill all the time because we've got that control. Then we can build on top of that and only make it more wow every single time.
It's been very funny to see people around town try and... we can get away with some of the ridiculous, small, niche, creative things we do because of the size of the venue and the quality of staff and the type of customer that comes here. We're starting to see a lot of things around town trying to recreate that kind of cocktail obsession without being able to have that same obsession over the details, I think, in bigger venues that are a little less personal, I guess. But we're very lucky here that we can obsess over the small things that we're actually really passionate about.
A niche cocktail bar can do that. So we've got that leg up with, like, same as Hooch and Fellow, like they would be trying to provide the same sort of thing.
Favorite thing about making cocktails? I think that it's very interesting cocktails because me and Marissa don't really drink a lot. We have been drinking more out of interest, maybe. Like, we've been going out more and more, especially if we're outside of towns, or if we're in Brisbane or Sydney, or, you know, we do make a huge effort to go to a ridiculous amount of bars. But we don't actually drink a lot. We never drink at home. We don't drink a lot, or we never drink during work. We never drink after work. So we really do only drink when we're actually in sort of like an exploratory mindset, I guess, where we are trying to learn something from somewhere that we are. So I guess, like, making cocktails is more about, for me, is definitely about you guys. Like, I don't come to OSC to enjoy OSC. I don't come to OSC on my days off. Like, OSC is set up for you guys, for me to create drinks and a bar for you guys, and that's how we do enjoy making cocktails. Like, everything we do here, all the cocktails that we make, everything we really do here in general is with you guys in mind. So I guess that's what we sort of enjoy about. Like, I enjoy bringing the experience to the customers, and that's how I enjoy cocktails more than the actual. Like, there's so much. Like, I enjoy crafting cocktails. I enjoy making cocktails. I enjoy, you know, making cocktails with a bit of flair. I enjoy everything about it, but really it is, the ultimate enjoyment is seeing it finally end up in a customer's,
if it's worked.
On a customer's table, and see the enjoyment from them with everything combined, more than just the drink in front of them.
Yeah, that's a good point, because, like, when a real good cocktail connoisseur comes in and they sit at the bar and they're sort of looking at the menu and like, oh my God, wow, like, you do that, or, oh, I love how you've laid this out, or, oh, I love, like, the smell in here, or just anything like that. And it's like, again, the whole experience that we get to create for somebody else, and then for certain people to enjoy certain aspects or the whole thing together is very enjoyable. Yeah.
Sometimes, it's good to see people that are so stoked sometimes, you know, when they walk in, it's cool. Happiness. It's just, it's good to see people that are just satisfied with what they've paid for. Yeah. I think that's very rare. You know, sometimes when you think of the price of alcohol, you think of the price of a cocktail, like, it is getting expensive.
But it's one of the only things people are still fine paying with a large amount with.
Yeah, they're fine paying as long as everything's, like,
okay. Yeah, of course.
Up to, like, when you're paying $20 for a cocktail, like, and you know some poor, it's not their fault, some poor 18-year-old is making you a drink that has absolutely no idea what they're doing and no support from anybody to help, like, that process. It really does sometimes make you question why you're paying so much for a drink. You know, you're paying for an alcohol content more than a craft. And also you're sort of paying for whoever created said menu, not who's delivering it to you. Yeah. Who's, like, the first point of contact, which is a little bit sad, but you can't have everybody down there. Whereas I guess that is a bit of a definition between some people going out to drink for the effect of alcohol, or some are coming to appreciate alcohol, I guess. Well. Yeah. I guess that's what we do to hear more, is people are obviously here to appreciate the finer things, appreciate the alcohol, appreciate the drinks, and maybe even appreciate their friends in a bit more of a quiet setting while they're here. They're not so much. Yeah, they're coming to a venue more so. Yeah. They're not going out to just have a party and get fucked up. No, I think it's a bit more of an adult drinking environment. Yeah. Besides last Saturday night, it felt like fucking American Pie in here. Well, I feel like that is a Saturday night. Saturdays are a bit loose sometimes. The favourite thing I like to make about cocktails, obviously the experience is really good, and that's more so my favourite thing about opening a cocktail bar, is sort of having that sort of experience creation. But when we're actually making the cocktails and you get the order pop up, and it's sort of like a mini race with yourself. Yeah, so fun. I don't know if whoever's worked at Macca's knows exactly how this is, but like an item pops up on the screen, and then you're like, okay, so you get your shaker, you get your jigger, you get your bottles, and you're just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as fast as you can, as clean as you can, as efficiently as you can, and then serve it up, and it just looks crisp. And it's just, I don't know, that is so fulfilling for me. And then obviously then watching, if it's quiet, watching the customer's face when they get it, have their first sip and everything. It's like the full experience here is just awesome. And you can see that customer. You're standing right at the bar and you get to look at their face, even if they're on the furthest table away. I do find it very enjoyable being that attentive. You know, when you see someone's face and they look at their water glass to be like, they reach for their water glass and it's like almost empty. and like you see them sort of do that, and then you go and fill it up at the same time their brain's registering that they should be giving more water. Like you're sort of there at the same time that they're noticing things.
That's
it's
why
really
Sunday gets a bit fucked, but
it's really cool actually. It's very
good.
fucking rare when, you know, like when people place their menus down and before they have to stress about the waiter coming over and I wonder how long it's going to be the waiter to get here. Like they close their menu and someone skulks on over and immediately like, hey guys, what can I get for you?
My favourite's when like
that's pretty fun.
They've got the gummy bear glass and there's like a gummy bear stuck and you've been watching them for only like a few seconds go and tap it and it's not coming out, and then the next second they have a straw put in front of them and they're like like it's just the best thing. It's not usually a creepy laugh like that, but and then they get the gummy bear and it's just like a nice fulfilled, they have the gummy bear and it's great. But it
is fun.
There's a lot of fun elements to.
I think it's big. Like we don't talk about it enough. But providing that kind of level of service is what we do enjoy, and then what also makes it fucking very painful to try and recreate, because that is an intense level of like expectation from someone that does naturally come quite easily to me and Marissa, but for some like it's quite a non ego-driven amount of service. Like you really are actually there to serve people, like entirely nothing to do with yourself. Like there's absolutely no like there's absolutely no like emphasis put on yourself. Like you are purely there to serve people for the evening. I think a lot of young people definitely have problems with being able to give so much of themselves to others for the night. I
just think they can't get into that sort of work mode. It's still they walk into work and it is themselves. Whereas I put on my shirt and I'm ready to work. I'm in a different sort of thing. So if someone asks me personally about myself, I'm just like I don't know. It's like a hard sort of thing to get out of, or like it's not hard to get into, but then sometimes it's hard to get back out of work.
And sometimes it hits you with a random question that you're not sort of prepared for. You're definitely in a bit of a zone, like while you're working.
You're definitely in an alcohol or
even a random questions outside of the normal like of what you're sort of expecting does take a while for your brain to sort of
like if they asked about alcohol, you'd be all over it, you know. But it's just so it's nice to sort of be fully involved in that service element.
I think it's been fun. Oscar's been a lot of fun.
Better than expected.
Yeah.
Even with COVID, like even last week, we were really worried about it. It was okay. It wasn't like a bad week at all. So
I guess just quickly on that too. I mean, for those people that are still coming out, like that are spending their money in town, like I guess people are very appreciative for that. Like we are down 35 to 40% on our normal week, even on a quiet week. So that's a pretty huge amount of money, and I mean it's quite easy for us because luckily we don't have a lot of full-time staff, but there's venues out there that would definitely be struggling, and they would definitely really appreciate you guys going out and supporting them and enjoying yourselves out and about. Obviously everyone has their own preference and their own concerns, but people are struggling out there, like venues, hospitality venues out there. I mean businesses in general are struggling. So I mean, thank you guys if you have been out for a few drinks, especially at OSC.
And if like now's the time that you are worried about going out, that's totally fine. But if you are going out for dinner and getting takeaway or something, like if you have a few extra minutes, like go and support someone else that's like, instead of just Macca's all the time, like they're fine. Well, they're probably not as fine either, but
they'll be down
there's
too,
plenty of other small businesses around that could use your help. If you
but also if they, this is where we probably swap not swap, where me and Marissa are a little bit different to the average people, is that if you think they deserve it, that's where it does become 100%. A very important thing. Is like we don't blindly support people that do not provide amazing products and services.
Absolutely.
So like if you think they deserve your hard-earned money, please
in a hard time,
go and spend it.
Yeah.
If they don't deserve it, like this is the market doing the market's thing, like it does.
Natural selection.
Unfortunately, this is the way. Business
that's
does
very true.
Ebb and flow, I guess. Probably a little bit pessimistic, but nonetheless.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is sort of the truth.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone sending in any questions?
No one's sending in any questions at the moment. That's fine.
I actually read something the other day. We should be doing this live.
We should be doing it live.
Is it you that said that?
We're gonna do our next gin night live. So, our next tequila night, which is coming up next month. We've just done our gin and our rum night. We've had about 20 people come in and learn about the basics of spirits and tasting 10 different alcohols on the night. So Marissa's been running that. Next one is tequila.
Yeah,
which is
so
next month.
pretty much just go over some basics with like what is tequila and like how is it brought about and why are there different ways to make it and how did just different brands do it. And to me, like I was just like, oh, it's just alcohol, like it's just another way to get drunk. But the more I learn about it, the more I'm actually like we were saying, we're actually
really
appreciating it. And what was the word you used before? We go out because we're interested in learning about something. So the more interest I get about these spirits, the more I end up tasting them. And it's a huge world. It's a massive industry, as we know. And there's just so much to learn. And then the taste is
There's
just
so much
something
to
at
taste
the
too.
end.
You get so much more out of it though. Like next time you have like during the night, it's a fucking bargain too. It's $80. You get 2 cocktails, bubbly on arrival, and you get to taste 8 to 10 different tequilas. So it's an absolute steal financially.
And for 3 hours, like yes, it's on a Tuesday night, but
And
for 3 hours, these people are stoked.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like everyone by the end of the night, each night so far have been like combining tables and talking and mingling. And then I don't know what they do after, but some people are like, we're going out, or like it doesn't have to end like that, but it ends like more of like a social, really fun kind of gathering that can put a smile on your face that you might not otherwise
Well, it's a bit
get.
of commonality. I think that's what you don't get very often these days. You know, it's funny when you put 10 very different people together and just teach them something basic about tequila or rum, how much of a bonding experience that turns out it is.
I think what's really fun too is as people are getting more relaxed, as they ease into the night, then we start to yell out sort of what flavors they're smelling or tasting and that. And some people are like, yeah, I get that. No, fuck no, I don't get that. That's shit. And it's just funny because everyone's just having a big laugh and it's been a very good little experience.
But yeah, check out our Facebook and Instagram for some photos of the last one, guys. And the tickets are up for our tequila night in February.
Yeah, so it's going to be on the 22nd of Feb. It's a Tuesday night and it's from 6 till 9. So mostly after you finish work, and you can head off from 8 and you don't have to have a late night if you don't want to. So yeah.
But you do you.
You do.
Alrighty, thank you very much for joining us for our first podcast. Actually, this is our second podcast. I'm not too sure what happened to the first one, but remember we did one last time?
Yeah,
we posted it, I think. Anyway, first or second podcast.
This is our second. We will post the first one.
We're going to be doing these weekly, guys. So check it out on either some sort of podcasting application that you may use or the YouTube. Cool.
And we should post on LinkedIn, a little snap.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you. Bye.